Good morning, hello, great to be here. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the nice introduction. So I'm Benedikt. I'm a member of our McKinsey Center for Future Mobility, which is our internal think tank and our client service line to deal with all questions around future mobility development. And I am co-leading our McKinsey Micromobility initiative, which is the reason why I'm here today. And in the following minutes, I will talk about three different things. Number one, I will show you insights from our new global consumer survey where we ask consumers about their mobility habits and changes in the new normal after the pandemic. Number two, I will show you results from our new micromobility modeling, where we forecast how big the micromobility opportunity within the next years actually may become. And number three, at the end, I will conclude and tell you our 5 reasons why we as McKinsey are so excited about micromobility. So let's start with insights from our consumer survey. When asking consumers whether they would change their habits with regards to moving from A to B in the future, in the new normal after the pandemic. Consumers are stating that within their micromobility usage, on a weekly basis, they could imagine to increase by about 8% in trips doing every week using micromobility vehicles. Whereas if you compare this to other modes of transport, we are seeing rather a stagnation, which means on the one hand, there is no clear loser now after the pandemic in the new normal. But on the other hand, micromobility seems to be the mobility mode that is actually benefiting in the new normal after the pandemic. Which means there could be a great potential ahead that we see now a significant uptick within that industry. Furthermore, when we ask consumers about would you actually be willing to use a micromobility vehicle for your daily commute, an astonishing 70% within the global average say, yes, I could imagine to do so if I had the opportunity and if it is attractive enough to do so. Which means if we further invest into making micromobility more attractive, actually consumers would be willing to adopt these modes of mobility and could unlock a great potential in the future. If you look into the distribution of different form factors within micromobility, so the differences between using bikes, mopeds, and kick scooters, consumers say that the main mode of transport they would choose within micromobility is the bike. However, more than 10% of consumers also state, I could imagine to use an e-kick scooter in the future for my daily commute. And digging deeper into that e-kick scooter opportunity was actually a kind of an eye-opener for us. Because when asking the consumers, okay, in that case, if you use an e-kick scooter for your regular commute and on a regular basis, what would be your preferred ownership type of that e-kick scooter? About two-thirds of the respondents say, in that case, I would like to own, thus to purchase it. Which means by today, a lot of the e-kick scooter unicorns are working within the shared e-kick scooter space, of course. This means in the future, there could be a very interesting and great potential to tap into private ownership models within e-kick scooters in the future. So also there could be an interesting opportunity ahead. So all these different insights from our consumer surveys are an important input to understand how the micromobility market in the future could actually evolve. And we are using this as an input for our market modelings. Other important inputs for modeling future market developments are, for example, regulatory shifts within city environments, historical developments, but also how other mobility modes could actually evolve in the future, ranging from private cars to ride-sharing vehicles, to car-sharing, to public transit, but also what would it mean if autonomous driving vehicles come into the mix. And if we combine all of these different inputs and forecast what could actually happen to the micromobility market, we come to the following result. So first of all, the total micromobility market in the USA and Europe today accounts for about 70 billion US dollars. These 70 billion US dollars include now everything consumers are spending their money for within the micromobility space. So ranging from buying a bicycle up to I'm using a shared e-kick scooter business, for example. And when we are now taking all these different inputs, consumer sentiments, shifts in regulation within cities, historic developments, technology developments into account, we see that there's actually an opportunity to more than double this market by 2025. This means within the next 3 to 4 years if we are able to unlock that potential. So there's actually a great potential ahead of us and exciting times. And if you split this now further into the different form factor modes, so the bike, the kick scooter, and the moped, we find and expect that the bike is and will remain the dominating mode within the micromobility market. However, the e-kick scooter and the moped may see the largest growth trajectory going forward. Yeah, these markets could actually nearly triple within the next 3 years by 2025, according to our modelings. So to conclude, there is actually this big opportunity ahead of us to see a year-on-year growth of more than 20% within the market if we are able to unlock that potential. For example, to unlock that potential, this means making micromobility more attractive. Yeah? We have seen that 70% of the consumers actually state and would be willing to use micromobility, which is a mismatch to what we are seeing in the big metropolises around the globe today, especially in the cities where we are still seeing lots of congestion and traffic jams and that are centered around the car and not micromobility. But if we are able to unlock that potential, the market could actually more than double within the next years. All right, let me conclude. So why are we so excited as McKinsey about the micromobility market? Let me give you 5 reasons and to sum up what I said in the last 5 minutes. So number 1, there's a great market opportunity ahead of us. The micromobility market, which is worth today already 70 billion US dollars in Europe and the US, has the potential to more than double by 2025, which makes it one of the most attractive and, let me say, most sexy mobility segments that we are seeing out there at the moment. Number 2, this growth is expected to happen across both private but also shared ownership models of vehicles. Within both, we expect this tremendous growth opportunity of actually doubling or even tripling within the next 3 years. And number 3, this is also true across the different form factors, while this may happen at different paces. Yeah? We expect that the bike is and will remain the dominating form factor. However, there is a big growth opportunity within kick scooters and mopeds, which could actually triple within the next 3 to 4 years by 2025. I was speaking now a lot of unlocking this potential, and this brings me to our point number 4, why we are so excited about that market. To unlock that potential, also cities need to act and further invest into micromobility. And this is actually what we are seeing right now. Cities are making announcements, are continuing to invest into micromobility, and are even accelerating this at the moment. And it's not only the investments within micromobility, it is also investments in making private car ownership more unattractive by implementing various measures in cities across the globe. And this could be now one of the unlocks and inflection points we are seeing in the next years to really unlock that big potential that is out there. And as a last point, point number 5, and this brings me back to the beginning of my talk, when cities are really going to invest into making micromobility more attractive, the consumers seem to be ready to really adopt these new forms of vehicles and mobility modes, and are willing now not only to unlock but also to capture the potential in the future. So these are the 5 reasons why we are so excited about micromobility to take home, and to take away from this. Thank you very much for your attention. Really looking forward to having a lot of discussions with some of you today, tomorrow, and at the evening event tonight. And thank you very much, and I hope you can take away some interesting insights from the last 10 minutes. Thank you.